Hello, my brothers and sisters in Christ. Revelation 14 provides us with a glimpse into the divine plan. In the opening verses, we encounter a striking vision. It's a scene of profound significance, featuring the Lamb, a symbol of Christ, standing on Mount Zion, a symbol of the heavenly Jerusalem. Accompanying the Lamb are 144,000 individuals, their foreheads marked with the name of the Lamb and his Father. These chosen ones are singing a new song, a song so divine and unique that only they could learn it. This song, sung before the throne of heaven, resonates with the promise of redemption and the joy of salvation. The image of the Lamb and the 144,000 is not merely a spectacle but a symbol of hope, a testament to the promise of deliverance and salvation. In the midst of uncertainty, the vision of the Lamb and the 144,000 stands as a beacon of hope and salvation. But what comes next is a stark and sobering warning. As our journey continues through the 14th chapter of Revelation, we find ourselves in verses 6 through 11, where three angels emerge with vital proclamations. The first angel sails through the midst of heaven, bearing the eternal gospel. This angel calls upon the people of every nation, tribe, language, and people, urging them to fear God and give him glory. It's a plea for worship, a call to acknowledge the Creator of heaven and earth, sea and springs of water. Next comes the second angel, descending with a startling announcement: Babylon has fallen. The great city, once rich and influential, is now reduced to ruins. The angel explains that Babylon's downfall is the result of her immorality, her seduction of nations with the wine of her passions. Lastly, the third angel steps forth, bearing a stern warning against the worship of the beast and its image and the receipt of its mark. This angel speaks of the wrath of God, unmingled with mercy, destined for those who choose the path of the beast. The angel paints a vivid picture of torment, a fire that burns eternally, and the ceaseless presence of the holy angels and the Lamb. These proclamations serve as a dire warning, urging humanity to choose their path wisely. The decisions we make in this life echo into eternity, and these angels plead with us to make the right choice. The final verses of Revelation 14 bring both a blessing and a chilling prophecy. Here we delve into verses 12 through 20, a passage that draws a stark contrast between hope and judgment. In verse 12, we encounter a call to endurance for the saints, those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Christ. Then in verse 13, a voice from heaven pronounces a blessing on the dead who die in the Lord from now on. The promise of rest from their labors and the assurance that their deeds follow them is both comforting and inspiring. However, the tone shifts dramatically as we move into verse 14. An angel likened to the Son of Man emerges with a sharp sickle in his hand. At the command of another angel, he reaps the earth, gathering the harvest of the ripe grain. Then in verse 18, another angel appears, this one with authority over fire. He too has a sharp sickle, and at the urging of a voice from the altar, he gathers the grapes of the earth ripe for judgment. These are thrown into the great winepress of God's wrath, a vivid and startling image of divine judgment. As the chapter ends, we are left with a stark vision of the future and a profound challenge to live our lives in the light of eternity. As we step into scene 4, you might be wondering, who are these 144,000 and how were they chosen? These individuals are not a literal number, but rather a symbolic representation of the redeemed from the earth. A number symbolic of completeness and God's perfect order. Following the harvest of the earth, the 144,000 stand on Mount Zion, having the name of the Lamb and his Father written on their foreheads. This sealing marks them as God's own, setting them apart in a world facing divine judgment. Now, one may ask, what were the criteria for their selection? The answer lies in their character and actions. They are described as those who have not defiled themselves with women, for they are virgins. This phrase is not a literal demand for celibacy, but rather it symbolizes their spiritual purity, having remained faithful to God and not following after false teachings. They are also described as those who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. This signifies their unwavering commitment to Christ, their willingness to follow him even in the face of persecution. Lastly, no lie was found in their mouths. They are blameless. This underlines their adherence to truth, their refusal to compromise or to be swayed by deceit. In essence, the 144,000 symbolize a group of people who have been faithful to God in the midst of trials and tribulations. Their selection is not based on their abilities, but rather on their faithfulness, purity, and truthfulness. As we move forward, let us remember to trust God for everything and continue to pray every day.